I have done this series almost since the beginning of the channel, and I've got some more stuff here, and I've got some familiar things that I'm going to talk about some different stuff because I found a different dollar store that I went into, and I actually found a couple of new things, including something that might surprise you. It's time for Dollar Store Model Railroad Finds. A special thank you to all of these businesses who support the channel in one way or another. You can check them out for discount codes at the end of this video. We're going to start off with the most ubiquitous and obvious one, probably the one that I've used the most from the dollar store, and that is isopropyl alcohol. Now, in some dollar stores, you can only find the 50% isopropyl alcohol, but in some, you can find it 70%. I have had zero luck in finding the 90+% IPA that I like to use, but 70% is an okay one to use. It's a little bit more waterier and takes a little bit longer to dry, but this is still good stuff to use if you're looking to break that surface tension when you're putting down scenic cement or things like that. So 70% isopropyl alcohol is still a really good thing to use, and of course it's only $1, well $1.25 now at the dollar store. Now, these next couple of things come from the craft aisle of the dollar store, which is actually something that has been slowly expanding over the past years, and I keep finding new things. The first is this pair of applicator bottles. These are fantastic for dripping IPA like I just showed you. It's also good for that 50-50 white glue water scenic cement mixture that you make. These are fantastic. I've used these in one form or another for a long time now, and a lot of times I used to either have to get them from kits that they would come in already, or I would have to go buy them on Amazon or something like that, but now they're at the dollar store right around the corner from me, and this is awesome. I absolutely love these bottles. Before this, I would have to buy like the condiment bottles that they have, and that's something that I've used, and that's perfectly fine, but these are great because of the screw-on caps, and they're designed for craft. So these are really good. Also, the smaller size just makes them easier to carry around and handle and things like that. So this is really, really great, especially if you're doing small dioramas or T-track modules like what I'm doing. These little squeeze bottles for craft supplies are awesome. This next thing has to literally be the easiest way to glue something in place that's not going to stand up on your layout until you glue it in place. And that's these tiny little miniature clothespins, and they come in these little bags. I've shown these before, but I'm kind of showing you things that I love to use. These are some of my favorites, and these are awesome because you can just put them right there on the layout, and you can hold figures up, you can hold signs up, all that kind of stuff until it glues in place. These are one of my favorites. Yes, I've shown them before, but they're in the craft aisle now versus having to go to the laundry aisle. For some reason, only the small ones there, but these are really, really great, and I'm really happy that these are now in the craft section because they do such great things. I want to find some new uses for these too, but these little miniature clothespins are awesome. Now, if you are an N-scaler like me, or even an HO scaler, or someone who has a lot of small detail parts and things like that, it's really hard to find a place to store them that you don't have just either a big container that you have to store a bunch of things in, or you're having to put them in very specific places so that you don't lose them, which is why I really like that I found these on the craft aisle as well. This is a 6-pack of small containers with lids so that you can put little things in them. These are great for figures. These are great for tiny little detail parts, signage, any of that stuff that you're going to need. If you 3D print a bunch of parts that you're going to use later, you can store them in this. This is just really awesome for doing this. And they had several different sizes as well, which was really awesome. So if you're looking for something to store that you can see through, that is really easy to use, it's not just something like a condiment ramekin or something like that, these are dedicated little tiny storage bins that you can find on the craft aisle at your local dollar store. And I really love these, and you're going to see me using these a lot. So now I'm going to hop back over to the hygiene and first aid aisle where I got the isopropyl alcohol, and I'm going to say it's always good to have some cotton swabs, some Q-tips as everybody knows them, at your workbench, because these are really great for cleaning up little things like if you're putting water slide decals on, or if you got a little bit of extra paint, or if you need to apply just a tiny bit of IPA or glue. These are great if you don't have micro brushes. Obviously micro brushes are really great for that kind of thing, but these are also really good for gently pressing things down and things like that. These are really great little scalpels essentially of craft supplies that are really awesome to use, and they're super cheap. It's a 200 count for $1. $1. I mean, you can't, or $1.25, I keep forgetting that. But you really can't beat that. And they come in a nice container, so when you're all done, you can use that container for stuff. I might use that for mixing different paints, or use it as like a junk water bin or something like that. So this is some cotton swabs, Q-tips as everybody knows them, 200 count at the dollar store. Really, really nice thing right here. I use painter's tape for a lot more than just when I paint. In model railroading, I use it to hold T-track modules and other things together while they're drying with glue, and I also use them to hold parts in place while I'm painting them. They're really good if you're spray painting pieces and you need to hold them down, just put them on a piece of tape, which is why I'm really happy that they have painter's tape at the dollar store. Now, this is a very small roll. Obviously, you're not going to line off an entire room with this, but this is still really, really good for, this is a good amount to have for a model railroad, because you're not going to be doing a ton, and it's a little bit thicker, and a lot of times you don't need the highest quality like frog tape or 3M to be able to do that. Just some simple painter's tape is going to be all that you need. So this is really, really great for having at your workbench. You're probably going to see this slightly darker blue painter's tape putting together some more modules here over the next few months. So this is a really good thing to have. Painter's tape, lots of different uses, because it's basically masking tape is what it is. Now, on dollar store model railroad finds, I have mentioned glues before, like super glue, but I also found some new versions of glue. I got the gel-based super glue, which is really good if you need to just put a tiny bit of glue and not have it run everywhere. So a super glue gel is good. And from this same brand, I also found a little tiny thing of 5-minute epoxy, which is something good to have if you need to epoxy some things together. That's a really good thing to have. And I also found some wood glue, which is, this is a nice little amount of wood glue for modeling. I'm going to have to try this because I don't know if it's as good as the wood glue I normally use. But yeah, so a lot of little glues there that you can find in little small containers. They had a whole thing going from the top to the bottom of an aisle. So definitely, like, go look for glues there. It's actually a surprisingly good place to find glues. No plastic cement or anything like that, but still good place to find glue. Just a quick one. I actually picked this up not for model railroading, but you know, sometimes you cut yourself when you're using a hobby knife or anything, and these little first aid kits be something good to just throw in your model railroad toolkit. Not going to say much about it, just has a band-aid and some alcohol pads, but good thing to have. So this last thing is going to be a bit of an experiment. I'm going to be doing a lot of airbrushing over the next few months and probably the next year. And I wanted to really like hone my airbrushing skills, and I wanted to try some new things with thinning paints and things like that. And one thing I have seen people use before is windshield washer fluid to thin it. And I wanted to try this, so I want to first of all say that I will report back on this. I'm going to do testing before I jump straight into this. I've seen people say it worked great. I've seen people say that it didn't, but I am going to try thinning with windshield washer fluid. And this was $1, this whole big thing. So dirt cheap. A couple things that I want to make sure is, one, that the blue doesn't tint the paint. And two, just make sure it works. I've heard that a little bit of it makes it like stick and do cleaner lines, which is why I want to try it, and it's just dirt cheap. So I want to try this. This is $1, so it's not that much of an investment if I don't, and I've seen other people do it and have great success with it. So I am going to try this and report back. But yeah, it was just $1.25 at the store, and we're going to give this a shot. So also, if you've tried this before, leave that in the comments, and I want to hear that. I've done a lot of these dollar store model railroad finds, and I think I've almost exhausted what can be found in the dollar store. Occasionally they get new products, but it's a lot of the same stuff over and over and over again, and it seasonally changes. So I think I'm gonna have to branch out into some other stores. I have done Walmart and Dollar General and Harbor Freight, and I think I may have done one more I'm not sure of. I think I did a different type of dollar store. But a lot of things I'm kind of running out of places to find in the dollar store, so I want to try different stores to find budget items. So I want to hear what kind of budget items you find in different stores for your model railroad, whether it's crafting, whether it's actual things, and leave that in the comments below and give me some ideas of some different stores to try and go see what I can find. So before we go, I want you to check out these model railroad businesses. They got some discount codes, guys.
Mini Prints creates 3D printed detail parts, figures, and animals that make your model railroad layout come alive. Get 15% off with code DIY15 at miniprints.com, because it's the little things that matter most. Scaletree.com. Scaletree.com makes hero and forest trees for HO and N scale. They also do custom trees for custom orders. Check them out at scaletree.com. Trains in the Valley. Trains in the Valley is a model train shop located in Pennsylvania. They sell new and used model trains with a mission to make trains accessible to everyone. You can check them out at trainsinthevalley.com. Link in the description. Model Railway Backshop is a great place if you're looking for a quality paint job for your old or new brass model locomotive. If you're looking to get that brass model weathered, you can get that done too. And right now you can get 10% off any brass model painting and weathering job by using the promo code NMRA10. Check them out at modelrailwaybackshop.com.
Thank you all so much for watching. Until next time, I'm Jimmy from the DIY and Digital. Stay safe, be kind, and happy railroading.